Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome, come one, come all, to a live post here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. I see 3 of our rescued residents enjoying yet another day of living wild at heart, courtesy of your support, of course. That's Bosco and Phoenix and Nunda. You know, we often talk about summer or pool season. Well, it's also cuddle puddle season for the servals in their free roaming habitats. And this group right here, look at Susan Mensa, before I even said it, cuddle puddle. This group right here is known to be a pretty tight family unit. They also live with Serval Lizzie. Hey, Miss Nunda. And very common to see these rescued servals enjoying their day in the company of one another. Hey, Kathy Silva, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Hey, Betty Winter from California. Kimberly K, welcome. Let's see who else is here. Hey, Kendra Ditto. Happy Friday. Faith Warner's here, checking in from Florida. Torben. Hope all is well, Torben. Let's see who else is joining us on this marvelous Friday. We made it through the week, everyone, and I said it on a live post earlier this week that it is feeling a lot like summer here. I'm speaking of feeling a lot like summer, literally I'm feeling the heat of the sun on my back. The servals have found a really great spot that's kind of a patchy spot with some shade and sun. But I was mentioning that Bosco, Phoenix, and Nunda, the 3 servals who we started out the live post with, well, they live with Miss Lizzie, who certainly is pals with the 2, but Lizzie likes her independence at times. So here's little Miss Lizzie hanging out. We'll keep on welcoming the folks, and then we'll start talking about some of our cats, maybe give a few updates on things. Obviously, Josie, if you tuned in to Tammy's live post midday, kind of in between the birthday parties of Nova and Prada, you would have learned that Josie was having a vet procedure yesterday, and she actually had her eye removed. So I'm going to give everybody an update on her successful procedure and how well she's been recovering and what her recovery period will look like. Hey, Robert Temple, checking in from Texas. Oh, so cool. Sherry G saying hello from Israel. That's so awesome. I always mention whenever I see kind of a global representation of the following here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, people checking in from all corners of the globe who've been touched by the stories of our rescues here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. It's never fails to get to kind of humble me and make me think about how fortunate we are to have such a big platform for our rescues. So off Lizzie goes into her free roaming habitat. I see Serval Zambuca hanging out. He says, yeah, I'm enjoying a little bit of shade here and a little bit of hissing. Classic to see servals hiss, very kind of common form of communication, the serval hiss. They'll hiss when they're excited. They'll hiss when they're perturbed. They'll hiss when they're just kind of clamoring and communicating with one another. But right now we're in our small cat track area of the sanctuary, which is where a majority of our rescued servals live. And, you know, I think I'm going to kind of turn the tables on our supporters and our followers. And, you know, a lot of the times you guys are hearing from us about, you know, why a cat like a serval might make an inappropriate pet and their stories of how they got here. But I'm always so impressed by how well educated you are and how well versed you are in all things Wildcat Sanctuary. So as we're here in Small Cat Track, where a majority of our rescued servals are, I ask you, what is the biggest through line in which our servals arrive here at the Wildcat Sanctuary? And in that, what is the situation that calls for a serval to be rescued and come to the Wildcat Sanctuary to sanctuary? Is it the fact that servals, we have wild-born servals? Is it the fact that servals are coming from closed roadside zoos? Is it the fact that servals are coming from private ownership? What's the biggest through line of almost every single one of the servals that we have here at the Wildcat Sanctuary? And I gave you a few options there. You can kind of think of the different reasons why our rescues come to the Wildcat Sanctuary. And I'm already seeing how shrewd and quick our followers are. And it is people pointing out that all of our servals, the majority of our servals, are coming from private hands. They're coming from private ownership. They're coming from home environments where they're being kept as quote-unquote pets. Unfortunately, they are bearing the signs of those former lives in the form of some of the cats being declawed, some of the cats coming to us with metabolic bone disease due to poor diet and neglect when they're living in those types of environments. And very awesome to see that you guys are so informed in that fact, is because really what we want to do here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, it's a grassroots effort. And I'm seeing, that tons of people who are educated and informed on this post, and we're right here on a social media platform. I see a bunch of informed individuals who can go and fly out onto the social media sphere, help educate people who are maybe posting misleading videos of servals as pets and Savannah cats as pets and Bobcats as pets. So really empowering to see you guys knowing kind of the truth of why these cats are coming to Sanctuary, and also how we can spread that truth to help kind of put an end to it. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do for our rescues, is really help those yet to come. And we're happy to do what we can for the rescues here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. But you've heard us say this before. We want to put ourselves out of business. We want to right all the wrongs that have been put in place by breeders and exploiters, and really just kind of set the record straight on what are appropriate pets. And please to keep the wild in your heart and not your home, as we always like saying here at TWS. Look at all these informed individuals. Mr. Phoenix, and I think that's Phoenix and Bosco. I think Nunda peeled out here. Yeah, Nunda says, I'm going to catch some shade back here. We'll kind of keep on circling small cat track here. Everybody should be giving themselves a pat on the back for our little trivia at the beginning of the post here, asking kind of what's the biggest through line, and which results in the servals coming here to the Wildcat Sanctuary, having to be rescued by us, and everybody knocking it out of the park. Looks like we got a big truck coming through here. I might be able to show you some of the construction that's happening. I'll wait till the truck passes by. We obviously had kind of a whole mess of water to deal with this spring, given the amount of snowfall that we had, and kind of right in the Cougar Cove gate that leads to the main part of the sanctuary, that was flooding and almost kind of washing out the road. So we actually are putting in a large culvert because obviously it's absolutely important that we're able to access the kind of majority part of the sanctuary where the red zone and the big cats are, because it's not only to give them their daily care, but also just in case of an emergency. So cool that that's getting knocked out, Mr. Jalapeno. But definitely a little commotion, as always, here in the summer. Because knowing the fact that that with the sanctuary being located in northern Minnesota, there is no getting around the fact that winter is inevitable, and we can't be digging and constructing and all that jazz in winter. And snow's on the ground is frozen. You know the drill, Mr. Jalapeno. I'm going to catch up on some of the comments here. And then we'll talk about Josie and her successful procedure tomorrow. Kathy Barton, I really like to see that comment, just kind of acknowledging the fact about the beauty of hybrids, but understanding the reality behind their beauty, and that they're part wildcat, and they're never fully going to act like a domestic cat, no matter how badly humans want it. And Lynn K, I love that. That's really something that I've talked to you guys about, and I need to really get on it. Perhaps I can do that when Olivia joins our team here in July. But Lynn K is just kind of mentioning how every time you see a video that shows some type of exploitative animal content, that you're kind of commenting and trying to right the wrongs and share some links and little toolkits that we'd be able to provide for you guys about how to maybe give links or how to report videos and hold these types of social media platforms accountable for what actually is animal cruelty and these animals being mistreated. So definitely something that I need to set some time aside and get a social media toolkit out for all of our supporters who are wanting to kind of right the wrongs of social media misleading so many people. And this is fun to see. That's Serval Belle, who, I don't blame her, is a little wonder saying, what in the heck is that big scary truck doing? Serval Belle lives with that would be her mother Ava, and then Jalapeno, who you see kind of pancaked out on that platform there. We know that Ava and the Peppers, and of course Chili, who because of some of the difficulties that he's had with his genetic metabolic bone disease and his leg having to be amputated and some of the rehab that he's gone through, him living on the other side of Small Cat Track. But the Servals, Chili and the Peppers, or Ava and the Peppers rather, coming from a situation, actually an international breeder of Servals in Canada, was shut down. Chili, Ava, Jalapeno, and Miss Belle. Oh, I thought I would be able to get a glimpse of Jalapeno from the other side, but were found in a trailer, found in a dilapidated trailer in a backyard. And this is an example I always like using is, the contrast of thinking, well, these Serval kittens, they were being sold for tens of thousands of dollars. I think listings for in between $10,000 and $15,000 for a Serval kitten. But then you see the standard of care that these cats are being given, living in a trailer that's covered in feces, covered in urine, falling apart at the seams. To me, that is just a case in point how these breeders and exploiters are only in it for the buck. They're only in it for the money. They're not in it for the well-being of these animals. They're in it for profit. And it's truly tragic. We're kind of circling around the backside of Small Cat Track, everyone. If you're just joining us, happy Friday. We made it to the end of a week. And hoping everybody has some fun summer plans. I see Tammy actually giving a industry tour here. This is actually the rescue who brought us Josie, which is pretty cool. And I'll still be talking about Josie as well. Leave it to Judson to get sidetracked and keep on talking about something else. But Chili was just given access to his habitat. I'm going to point out, which you guys have seen before, Chili's little rehab ladder. And that's a space where we can get Chili climbing up, climbing down, extending his legs, making sure that he's not suffering from any muscle atrophy, and really just make sure that he's staying limber and comfortable despite all that's happened to him. And Chili really has been through a lot, and you guys have been right there at Chili's side through every moment of it. And perhaps if you missed, I was trying to see you. Nope, that's not you, Chili. And perhaps if you're maybe new to TWS and you'd like to learn all that Chili has gone through because of the selfishness of humans, that's something I highly encourage you to do. You can go to wildcatsanctuary.org, just type in Chili into the search bar, and his story will pull right up for us. Alrighty. Pretty quiet. I was looking for Caracal Aurora, but as you can see too, I mean, we're still kind of mowing pathways and stuff. You'll see that there's kind of pathways along the perimeter of the habitats and then kind of some winding through. But you guys know us here at the Wildcat Sanctuary is we pride ourselves in what we call natural free roaming habitats. So definitely a lot of natural appeal to our habitats, which certainly appeal to the cats and can make it a little bit hard for the paparazzi to find them sometimes. But let's go just buzz over to Wildcat Pines here. Yeah, I'm nervous to go into Hybrid Haven, unfortunately, with the service. So let's go over to Small Cat Track. And I do see maybe a caretaker doing some type of feeding, but we'll just keep on trucking. And here's the construction that's happening, everyone, that I mentioned earlier. We are putting in a big culvert. We had some flooding issues down on the road that leads into the main portion of the sanctuary, or red zone. And we can't have that. We need to be able to have immediate access down to that area, like I said earlier, not only to give care to the cats, but in case there was some type of emergency situation. So right here from the Animal Care Center, you have our prep room, refrigerator, freezer, zoom, and all that ATV traffic heading down into the red zone. So we have some ATV or some UTVs staged down in red zone, so caretakers just have a little bit of a walk today, but they're going to have it placed by the end of the day, which is marvelous. All right, let's go see if we can maybe I am going to go this way, actually, since it's a little louder than I'd like it over there. But such is summer at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Minnesota has a saying, and I think it adheres to us here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. And if you're Minnesotan, you might know it. And they say that Minnesota has two seasons: construction season and winter. And I think we kind of identify with that here at TWS too. Looking for Sarge and Morgan and Glenn. Oh, I see Miss Morgie. I see Miss Morgie. And that beautiful kind of red coat almost that you have, Morgan. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get any closer to Morgan. I'm going to respect her space. I'm going to make sure that she can keep on enjoying her morning in the shade here. We know that Morgan lives with Bobcat Glenn and Bobcat Sarge. Who I see Sarge way back hanging out in the shade there, and I'm sure his companion Glenn isn't too far. Kind of been walking and talking. I'm going to catch up on some comments here for a moment. Looks like Tanya just joined us. Glad to have you, Tanya. Tracy F. saying, Maine has winter, mud, construction, and tourist season. Yeah, I always love kind of the kind of territorial inside jokes, state to state. But that's definitely one that we have in Minnesota. We have kind of 35, one of the main highways here, right outside of the sanctuary, and if I don't see traffic cones on that highway, it doesn't feel right. So here, Bobcat companions, Archer and Copper, and I say Archer. Does anybody see two Bobcats? Because there are two Bobcats on the screen right now. We kind of had our second quiz of the day here. I see one Bobcat. Does anybody see a second? And it's not that identifiable, but I do see a lump of Bobcat. Belinda D asking, did I miss the Josie update? And the answer to that is no. And I'm going to take the opportunity right now to give that update. And and before I do that, that's Copper down low. And if you look up and see this little shiny ball of fluff, that's Archer hanging out up in his tree there, typical Archer. But Josie yesterday had a procedure. We know that Josie came to us when we initially took her in. She had some severe skull trauma. We unfortunately don't know exactly what happened. But unfortunately, Josie's face is kind of disfigured because of that. But we love her nonetheless. And also, unfortunately, she had some very bad cataracts. And Josie's only 2 years old. So she's had a pretty rough go at life. And that's why we're extra happy we can give her everything she needs here at TWS. You may recall Kelly had gone live. We had brought Josie down to the AERC to maybe took her to an eye doctor to maybe see if the trauma that had happened to her skull was causing pressure on her eye, and we didn't see anything like that either. And I guess I should have mentioned that Josie was giving us plenty of signs, and you heard Tammy kind of summarize this during the procedure, that her eye was bothering her so much that she was almost rubbing it completely raw. We had tried the little kind of pretty paws, which kept her claws from getting at her eye. We had tried the cone, and unfortunately it just seemed like Josie was just in too much discomfort, which led us to have to remove the eye. And that procedure took place yesterday. Dr. Campbell said that the blood work looked great, that she was under intubation and sedation, and she did great while under sedation, and that she recovered last night very well and even ate her meal yesterday evening. So for the next 72 hours, Josie is going to be recovering in our on-site hospital. She's got her own little kind of small 4x4 area kitted out with types of blankets and beds to keep her comfortable. But then as soon as next week, you guys will probably see a live post from me on the upstairs offices. She'll already be back up with the office staff and Edgar, and looking forward to having her back. So all in all, the procedure went well, and we appreciate everybody kind of understanding the path in which led us to making that type of decision for Josie, having to remove the eye, and understanding that we're always going to make the best decision for the best interest of our rescue. So thank you for that. Copper, he says, I'm looking this way because I keep on hearing all these machines over there. He says, yeah, they're doing a little construction, Mr. Cop. I'm going to turn around the corner, folks. Maybe see if Belvedere and Francis and Autumn are around. And we've had ourselves a good stroll, folks. I hope everyone's been enjoying themselves. We're over in Small Cat Track, seeing some of the cuddle puddles between Phoenix and Noonda. Mr. Bosco, of course. It's hardly a cuddle puddle in that group without Bosco being included. You guys got to impress me, as you always do, with some Serval education, and you guys told me what is kind of the biggest source of or reason why servals are being rescued by the Wildcat Sanctuary, and that would be coming from private ownership. Hey, Mr. Autumn. And then we've just been visiting with some cats. It's really been a pleasant Friday, everyone. And as a matter of fact, yesterday, the media team grew larger by 2 individuals. I welcomed 2 new media interns, Trinity from Texas and Stephanie from North Carolina. So we can look forward to kind of formally meeting those new additions to the media team, perhaps next week sometime. And always looking forward to seeing how they're going to bring their expertise to the table here at the Wildcat Sanctuary and serve the cats and our supporters. I'm very excited for it. And you just look so comfortable and rested, Mr. Autumn. I love to see you so relaxed, Mr. Serious Man. He says, I am a serious man, and you get to be whatever you want to be, Mr. Autumn. That's the beauty of living wild at heart. Let me see. All right, so we talked Josie, which I'm really happy, and kind of give the full update on Josie. I'm going to be posting kind of a formal written update later today. We have some photos as well that we're going to get to sponsors included. But nonetheless, Josie's doing well, and always happy to be giving a positive update, and especially on a cat like Josie, who's had a rough go at. Like I said, she's only 2 years old, and man, that little kiddo's been through a lot, and unfortunately, we don't even know the extent of what she's been through. Looking for a couple bombs, but I don't blame this group for maybe laying low while there's all types of action. I can't even see it over on the other side of kind of the foliage there. But hey, I think we might call that a live post for today. I see a slinking bobcat over here, so maybe we'll go say hi to Francis. But we'll sign off, and I haven't had a chance to thank everyone for tuning in yesterday. It was really fun seeing Prada and Nova celebrate their first birthday. Hey, Mr. Francis. Celebrating their first birthday. I think that there's, a lot to celebrate on a birthday like that. And, not only of seeing that those cats are safe at Sanctuary, but thinking about the future that's in store for them. Lots of smiles all around. So thank you guys for turning out and celebrating their first of many. How about the lions with the watermelons? Oh my gosh. We're going to have to make sure we put a whole host of watermelons next time. Taras was getting a little boisterous over the one watermelon that he decided to claim his own. But hey, as always, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for doing what you do for the rescues here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. We wouldn't be able to do it without you, and we are so, so thankful for it. Have a wonderful weekend, safe weekend, and have some fun this weekend too. We'll see you back here at the Wildcat Sanctuary on Monday.